Hey guys, it's me Febriana and this is the second episode of Small YouTubers Technical Guide. In last episode, we talked about planning and now it's all about filming. Let's just start with the first question. What equipments do you use and any advice on how to choose the equipments?
I have three different cameras I usually record on. First, the Canon 700D, which I use for my regular recordings like this one right now, and also for when I film some cinematic stuff. Second, the SONY HDR-C X410 I use for vlogging outside, like for example travel vlogs, because it has a really good audio recording system and an even better image stabilization feature. Then for the more action stuff I use the GoPro Hero 4 Black Adventure. It's just so handy for filming in so many situations and I really like that you can record 120 frames per second in HD. Besides from cameras, I also use a hammer tripod, the Rode Videomic Pro and a really nice shoulder rig for balanced filming and low angle shots.
So we've got a couple of soft boxes in here, we're well lit from the front. At the moment we've only got the overhead lights going, which is just the normal lights. However, when we turn the lights on, then we're well lit, you can see us clearly, and it makes the whole viewing experience much better. So soft boxes aren't very expensive. I think we've got two, one either side. If you've literally got no money at all, sit in front of a window.
I'll go ahead and flip the camera around so you can see what type of lighting I have. I do have two shadow boxes right in front of me. They're not really even because I'm cray-cray like that. And actually when I bought this softbox, I broke the light bulb right away, so this light bulb doesn't even belong in here because you could tell that this one's brighter than this one. Oh well.
And I also recommend a ring light if you are just doing videos like this where you're just talking to the camera and the focus is only on you. Because that ring light helps focus that light onto you. And you are the subject of the beauty that you are creating.
I have a lighting kit which you can also get off of Amazon. I've got a different one because ordering something off of Amazon is a little tricky if you live in the Netherlands. And I have a Zoom H4n as a microphone on a stand that actually came with my light.
As far as audio equipment, because I also do cover videos, I have a studio recording kind of set up. So I have like a mic, I have a studio condenser mic, a mic stand, and the whole shebang.
I use a Canon 600D, which is also called a Rebel T3i in other countries, I believe. And with that, I use a Rode microphone right here. I just connect the microphone to the camera and I start filming.
The sound is probably one of the most important things.
If not the most important.
Yeah, if you're seeing quite a low quality video, but you can hear exactly what's being said, then you'll probably watch it.
Yeah,
it's manageable, you can watch it, you can enjoy it. If you're watching at HD, 1080p, but you can barely hear what they're saying, it sounds distorted or horrible, it sounds really echoey, reverby, you're probably going to switch off. The important thing is to make sure that you've got, I'd say, either your camera is close enough to you that it can actually pick you up,
yeah, or
maybe you do what we do and use an external microphone. You don't want to sound like this when you could sound like this.
I use this short stand sometimes when I do vlogs, just because I feel like whenever I'm doing vlogs I do cover up the speakers sometimes, so that's a problem. And what I love about this is that it can bend and stuff. See, it's so cool. And then you can you can put it around a tree branch or just anything and it's amazing.
I won't really use a tripod. I just makeshift, put it on a shelf and hope for the best.
I literally film with my iPhone 6 rubber banded to an old broken camera on a tripod. If you want to know how to attach an iPhone to a tripod with rubber bands, I could totally tell you how to do that.
Before, when I was first starting out my channel, I had this really cheap point and shoot camera that I found in a lost and found.
Anything that films stuff, really. I use my phone. Right now it's a bit grainy because the light's fading, because daylight is fading fast. The struggle is real.
When you're starting out small, I would just recommend just go with what you have. You do not need to have a fancy camera to really start doing YouTube videos. You can film on your phone. I've done that before. If you're wanting to upgrade your equipment to a better camera, what I do is I try and find out what the YouTubers that I watch use, and then that kind of helps me choose what camera I'd want.
Choose something that you can afford and also something that you can use in other ways besides just YouTube, especially if you're just beginning and you're not sure if you're going to stick it out yet.
My recommendation to anyone that's trying to start out is to pick a budget and make sure you stick to it. The next thing you should do is find a YouTuber that's very conversational with their viewers. You can interact with them and ask them for help picking out equipment that fits your price range and budget. Lighting, cameras, whatever you need.
Make sure that you do your research before buying a camera. ask for suggestions, watch reviews, and physically go to the store and ask the salesperson a lot of questions. So when you want to buy something, you know exactly the model of the camera that you are going to buy. Also, you don't have to have a camera that has a screen that you can flip out. In fact, I find it kind of distracting because I always end up looking at the screen instead of the lens. Instead, you can connect your camera to a phone or a laptop so you can still see how you look like in the camera, but you are not distracted. You still can focus on filming, but you know how you look. I connect my camera through Wi-Fi, but if you don't have a camera with Wi-Fi, you can pretty much do it with cables. Okay, so the next question is, how long does it take you to film?
Filming can take a surprisingly long amount of time. I find that conversations and things where you need multiple angles can take a very long time to set up and film, but something like a challenge can just be turn on the camera and go, because no one wants to eat an onion twice.
Some of my most time-intensive recordings were actually for my shortest videos where I had to film something outside, I had to film in my kitchen, I had to film here in my bedroom, things like that. So it sort of depends on the content itself.
Well, it depends on my videos. If it's a short film or something that's a bigger production, it can take a couple of weeks.
That really depends on the video. If I make a sketch video, it can take like 1 hour. A video like this actually takes about 3 times as long as the video is, so let's say 20 minutes or something.
Usually filming only takes about half an hour for me, but if I'm doing like a day in the life vlog sort of thing, obviously it's gonna take longer.
But when I film cover videos, it takes a lot of retakes sometimes, just depending on what song it is and how much I've practiced beforehand. But the retaking process can take like 2 hours.
Let's be honest, filming takes a lot of work and time. But you know what's even more time consuming than filming? Editing. But we'll get on to that on the next episode. So, how do you film and what is your filming style, guys?
How I film is I prop the camera up to where I think it should go, and my camera doesn't have a viewfinder. So I set it up, I focus it as much as I can, and then I record a video for a couple of seconds, see what it looks like stop recording, take the camera, have a look at what the video looks like, repeat until I've got the angle I want.
Basically film all my videos with a camera fixed to the tripod and just talk straight to it. Hi.
The first thing I do is just set up a camera on a tripod for a face shot like this. Then I'll do a color theme, so say yellow, yellow, even my shirt and these headphones and this background here kind of share a same color theme. The next thing I do is try to cream out the background a little bit and get rid of the unimportant things. So they're nice pops of color, but they're not important. My face is the most important in this shot, for example.
I have a very small room, and it's so small that my furniture can only go a certain way so that I can actually have space in the room. So that limits where exactly I can film in the room. Really wasn't anything on the wall, so I wasn't like all of those cool YouTubers that have stuff on their wall and it all looks so cute and kitschy.
If it's during the day like today, I'm facing the window, so there's natural lighting coming into the room, and I just sit in front of a camera and take advantage of the natural lighting to help me film my video.
Usually I film by recording the intro and then the main part and then the outro separate from each other.
And if I don't like how I sounded, if I feel like I said or like or something like that too many times, I will go back, sit down again, and just refilm the entire thing.
Yep, Michael is absolutely right. There are certainly a lot of footage that I recorded that do not even get past the editing stage because it's so unusable. I had to redo it all over again. Speaking of that, do you guys have any problem while filming? And how do you overcome it?
My hugest problem while recording is background noise, and usually I just tell everybody to shut up.
When you live with other people and you want to film but they want to like talk or something next to your room where you're recording, then you just like need to make some deals when I'm gonna record and you're gonna be quiet, stuff like that. Phone, no!
I try to film when there's nobody in the house because I don't know why, but I think my walls are like paper thin because you could hear literally everything.
In my home, my lighting is not that great and I don't have the pro equipment and stuff, so I can only film during sunny days at home.
There is only one window in my bedroom, which is currently right over there to the side of me, so the light goes this way, and I can't sit in front of the window because my bed goes all the way to the wall. Also,
I don't actually have money to buy proper lighting, so it is what it is. Deal with this very unlit face right now.
Another huge problem that I face while filming is when my SD card runs out of space in the middle of filming. So I'll be in the middle of it and it'll just shut off and cut off half of what I just said, which is literally what just happened.
I take my SD card out when I edit and put it in the computer. Sometimes I forget to put it back, so if I take my camera I won't have the SD card and I can't film.
Technology. The battery runs out, the camera's out of focus. I try to overcome this by always fully charging my camera beforehand and also reviewing the footage as I go along.
Sometimes I need an extra person to like hold the camera for me because I can't get my tripod exactly how I want it. That's probably the major thing, and a friend isn't always available to come over and say, here, I'll hold this for you, to get this awkward angle for you. So that's kind of like a major issue that I come up with in filming.
Or you try to film and you make a lot of mistakes, grammatical mistakes, so you gotta start again and say what you wanted to say properly so that people would understand you. To overcome that, you don't wanna film in a rush. You wanna take your time and make sure that you look how you want to look in the video, something that people would appreciate while they're watching you.
Always, all the time, every single thing that these people said, I face them all the time. And how do I overcome that? By being patient. Seriously, you have to have a lot of patience to get your videos the way you want to look. So, final question for this episode. Any other advice about filming?
Get comfortable with the camera. Get comfortable with yourself. Get comfortable talking to the camera, because the most important thing for you to remember is that when you are recording, you are not talking to a camera. You are talking to the people that are going to be watching. You are talking to your friends.
Look in the lens and not the viewfinder, because people can tell when you're looking in the viewfinder because they see your eyes floating around. And yeah, I know it's like really distracting not to look at yourself, but like people can tell, and it just gives it like it makes people like wonder what you're doing, you know, when you're looking elsewhere except for the lens.
When you're struggling to figure out how to portray yourself in a certain scene, try doing it happy, try doing it sad and angry, and see which one of those you like best.
You should just try out different filming styles, you know, find different angles of light and from the camera angle, and just find what works for you.
Start as early as you can. Even if you have school, come straight home, get it done. And you'll feel a lot better because it's done and you can get to editing, and it gives you a lot more time to editing.
Try to get some decent lighting, because that's what I often lack. Keep your batteries charged.
Our attention spans nowadays last about 3 seconds, so if we don't get someone's attention in that 3 seconds, they are going to click away. And we don't want that. We don't want that. You don't want that. I don't want that. So, to prevent that is make sure your face is easily seen. Have good lighting. If you can't afford to buy lighting, that's okay. We have a thing. It's a magical thing. It's called the sun.
I'd also recommend trying to reduce the amount of background noise as much as possible. I've closed the window directly behind this, which means I am sweating so much, but it means you don't get the sound of the wind coming through the window affecting the audio. And while you're filming, try and talk as loud, I guess, and clear as possible.
The watching and hearing should be easy, so everything else can be enjoyed, I think, personally. If you know yourself, if you're watching other YouTube videos and you can barely make out what they're saying, or it's a struggle and it's all dark and shadowy, if you have to make an effort to enjoy it, you're not going to watch it. Whereas if it's just easy that you can just soak it in, then you're much likely going to click onto another video.
I would just say you have to just go through this trial and error process, and you just need to try and just don't give up. You just have to keep going for it. If YouTube is what you really want, then just keep trying, and also try to reflect on every video that you do and see how you can improve for the next time.
Do the best that you can with what you have. That's what I'll say.
Exactly, Karen. Exactly. 2 additional things. 1, you don't actually have to have a camera. You just have to be able to use it. You can borrow or rent. I've done this before. I've rented cameras before. So I gather up a few ideas and make sure that I know exactly how I want to execute these videos. And then I choose one big filming day and rent the camera that day, you know, film 5 to 10 videos that day. However, this is a bit stressful, especially when you face technical problems. If you have these problems, you can't go back and fix it. So you may try something like that, but you know the consequences. And lastly, the most important equipment is you. Your ideas, your voice, your personality, your skill. Those are the most important things that you have to have. It's not about the equipments. You can get all the best equipments, but it still means nothing if you don't have the skill to use it. So just get started with what you have. Because the most important thing is for you to practice and get used to the act of making videos itself. And it doesn't come naturally. You have to practice. Equipments are tools for you to execute your ideas. The most important asset is still you. That's it for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you find it helpful and enjoyable. Make sure you check everybody who participated in this video because I love them so much. And you should love them too, because they are wonderful and deserve to be loved. So, all the links will be down in the description, also at the end of this video. Also, come back next week because we are going to talk about editing. Everything you need to know about software, tips and tricks, and also struggles and problems. We are going to talk about that, so make sure you watch that and subscribe to my channel to be notified when that video comes up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see ya next week.
I do apologise about the spinning. These trials are here to test us, so I'm going to push through. You're just going to have to live with it because YouTuber problems, budget problems.